the video's going to play first, right?
I pledged allegiance to the flag God stood beside me. I swore an oath to my countrymen and kin. Side by side we sang our anthem oh so proudly. And this is where a soldier's tale begins. We left for foreign shores in the name of freedom, comrades in arms for the liberty of man, shoulder to shoulder.
Hi, and welcome to episode 72 of the Late Night Veterans Show. Today we've got a special guest, Reginald Argue. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, Reg. Sorry, Reg.
Oh, sure. I'm a Canadian peacekeeping veteran. I served in the Canadian military from October 86 to August of 95. I went over to Iran in 1988. So it's been decades since I've been out. I still adhere to my oath to this day. I'm an old talk radio show host. I did that for about 4 years, and then went on and did talk video interviews. Altogether, I interviewed over 400 guests. I've written hundreds of poems. Just did put up this novel last year, sort of thing. It has short stories from my military career, and it also has lyrics to a song, Warriors Cry, which talks about why so many of us veterans do what we do. And yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Cool. Welcome to the show.
Hello, welcome to the show, Reg. This is Gareth, our new co-host on the show as well, as along with Adam. They're going to take it in turns. So I just wanted to get something up here on the screen. So I'm just going to share one of Gareth's videos that he did today. So we did a walk to Snowdon for the VC gallery, hence the t-shirt, the jumpers we got here. I'll just play the video, and then Gareth's going to talk about the VC gallery and what it's done for him. And then I'm going to show you a few more clips. Put MBE Barry John on saying thank you, and then we're going to go the last second half of the show all for our main speaker, main guest, Reg. So just put this video on now, guys. Take a look.
Good morning, it's Matthew here at the VC Gallery, and I'm with Gareth and the team that have recently raised some money for the VC Gallery, and they're here to tell us about their recent challenge. Obviously, some climbing one of Wales's largest peaks up at Snowdon, and so you can tell us a little bit about what they're doing and why they decided to raise money here for the VC.
Hi, so I'm Gareth. Just to correct you, it's the highest peak in Wales. So I came to the VC Gallery as a client because I was struggling with mental health whilst I was serving in the army. The 2nd of June 2023, I tried to end my life. And then 7 days later, my family brought me into the VC Gallery in Pembroke. Without the VC Gallery, I can actually say I would not be here. They got me counselling, they got me the help I needed, and obviously they got me through the tough times. Now that I'm back on my feet, my mental health is really good, medicated, counselling, etc. I've now created a New Girl crew, which is part of the VC Gallery. It's like a splint off, if you like, where I organise events outside, because obviously being outside is really good for your mental health. Get people together, because if they're struggling, we can all help each other. And basically that's why I created that group. And then a few of the guys that came up with Snowdon, they believe that they could not climb Snowdon. The mountain's too high, it's too steep, it's too cold, it's too hard. All that stuff that goes around in your head when you're mentally like a little bit down or whatever. Obviously I can resonate with that. So I now try to help those people battle those demons in their head. I can't do it, it's too hard, it's too cold. Well, actually, it wasn't too cold, there wasn't too much snow, and they did do it. So yeah, that's kind of why we did it. Snowdon being the nearest highest peak that we could go to, and we just did it so we could raise money for the VC, because obviously they helped me. So now I'm just trying to help them back, if that makes sense.
It certainly does. Thank you very much indeed. And obviously, I'm certainly glad that you had the help that you needed, and what a wonderful cause here at the VC. So I'm with the Mayor-elect, Mr. Randall. How are you doing, sir?
Very well, Matt. Thanks for...
So what is your capacity here today, and obviously why you've helped out for this charity?
Well, I've known Barry for 20 odd years, and this has always been, something close to his heart. Working with the VC for the last 5 years, is absolutely fantastic. The things that they've they've done for Happen West is absolutely phenomenal, from helping us from connecting the community to actually helping feeding the community as well. So anything that the VC Gallery needs, we usually get on board with Danny and I, being veterans ourselves as well. But from a town council perspective, they've helped us out in a lot of activities, from Garth in the Park to Halloween on Dark Street to, connecting the community. This is what this community spirit and engagement and community organizations like this that truly make Happen West the best in the West.
Fantastic as always. Thank you very much indeed. Hello there. How are
Hello.
you doing? You okay?
Good, thank you.
So tell us a little bit about the challenge, and obviously I love the green hoodies, and tell us a little bit the story behind those.
So, I don't know, we just all decided to go for a different colour, because obviously the VC Gallery is blue. And we wanted, because we're outdoorsy people, and we just decided to come up with the colour green, wasn't it?
Well, the green, again, going back to the green colour, it's very grounding. And I find with my mental health, going to the beach, being out in nature, actually putting your feet on the ground, grounding yourself, slowing your mind down, being able to process your thoughts, process your feelings. Green is very grounding, hence why we've gone for that colour. I just recently come back from Poland, and they always wear green in Poland because it's grounding, and that's where I got the idea from. So, yeah, basically. This is the individual I was talking about. It's too hard, it's too cold, I'm not fit enough. So, yeah, this is the person.
So how did you find the challenge?
Well, it was all right. It was hot down at the bottom, and I was sweating, and I did a video each mile that we did, and let everybody know how we were getting on. And when we hit the ice, that was it. I was like, I'm not going any further. I can't do it. So I know Greg Hardman. He does emergency wilderness survival. And I said to Greg, I was like, Greg, can you give me some ideas on kit list? And he said, get yourself some crampons. So without the crampons, I don't think I would have gone any further. And I was ill the week before as well. I was full of coughing and cold. But yeah, I was really emotional when I was getting towards the top. And then I got to the top and I was just broken. I was like, oh my God, I did it. But the right support around me, it was amazing. We kept each other going. It was difficult. I'm not going to lie, it was difficult for me and some of the others. And we just all stayed together, kept as a group, and we did it.
Well, I'm certainly glad that you did, and obviously you raised those wonderful funds. So you can tell us the total that you guys raised, obviously, as part of your total.
So we raised £1,520. And yeah, we're really chuffed with that.
That's an awesome amount, and I'm sure it will do absolutely fantastic here at the VC Gallery. Thank you so much indeed for talking to Pure West today.
And I'd like to thank everybody who donated as well. It's a massive thing that they've done, and I just can't thank them enough, really.
No problem at all. So what's the next challenge then?
Ireland. So yeah, a couple of days after Snowdon, me and Gareth were sat in the VC Gallery and started talking about Ireland. Yeah, so looking forward to that one.
And the final words to you then, Gareth.
So yeah, just that island trip, I've done Snowdon over 150 times. So using my military training now as a mountain leader, mountain first aid, I'm using that military training in a better positive way to help people, the local community, especially Donna and a few of the others. And I've never done the one in Ireland. I don't even know what it's called, actually. I can't remember. It's a big, long name. So we're planning to go to Ireland for the next one. So hopefully in the summer when it's not so cold and not so snowy. So yeah, cool.
I like it. And obviously, please keep us posted here at Pure West, and we'd love to follow your journey.
If anyone wants to see any of the events, New Girl Crew on Facebook, we put all our events on there. So yeah, thank you very much. Cheers.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
So that was the video Gareth did at the VC Gallery. We had, what was the radio company?
Pure West Radio.
Pure West Radio. So Gareth's going to tell you a little bit more about his journey and what the VC Gallery did for him.
Yeah, so I was currently, well, at the time I was in the British military as a sergeant in the training wing, and my mental health was deteriorating. It just kept on deteriorating, wasn't getting any better. I kept on asking for help. I kind of got the whole, man up sort of attitude, and I just didn't get the help I needed. So on the 2nd of June 2023, I hadn't slept for 7 days. My mind was racing, and I decided to try to end my life by hanging. I'm really grateful that I did, because, and that sounds stupid, but I'm who I am today because of what I did. I'm proud of my scars. It forced me to get away from the military. It forced me to get my head sorted out, get my head straight, get the medication I need, get the therapy, be the person I am today. Now, post 7 days of actually doing what I did, I was then abandoned by the military, if you like, told to go on sick leave because they didn't want it to get out into the media, and they basically left me at home with my family. So my family were then struggling because they're not mental health trained. They didn't know how to deal with me. They didn't know what to do. They got told to take me up to the VC Gallery in Pembroke Dock, where local veterans just kind of gather together, got to share stories, help each other. I just sat in the corner crying my head out, and I didn't know what to do in my life. My head was a mess. And all it took was one person to come up to me and say, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And that was enough to just get the ball rolling. I started to talk about my feelings. I started to talk about my PTSD. I started talking about the way I was feeling, what I was doing, why I felt the way I did. And people got me. People understood me. They kind of like, we've been there, mate. When we were 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we were the same, leaving the military, didn't know what to do with lives, completely lost. A lot of them turned to drugs. A lot of them turned to, other bits and bobs to manage that stress, to manage that problem. I just didn't know what to do. But grateful for the VC guy, as you can see. We've got the VC tops on. I'm very proud to wear this top, actually, because they were there in my time of need. So, that's why I'm trying to give something back. So going in the VC, that was a reason for me to get out of bed. That was a purpose in life. Since leaving the army, I looked forward to 11 o'clock when that VC was going to open. And I was gutted at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when it was closing, because I was have to wait till the next day to have a purpose. Even just like setting up tables for veterans to have food, or bring them food because they can't get their own food through wheelchairs, or they're just a little bit older and frail and got conditions. And just getting up and having something to do that day, reason to get out of bed, reason to have a wash, reason to brush your teeth, reason to get dressed, literally a reason to live. It kind of gave me a reason to live, and then I wanted to live. I know it sounds daft, but when you're completely depressed and anxious and suffering from PTSD, you need that reason. So I'm really grateful for it. And then as time's gone on, I've got better. Obviously, I've had counselling, therapy, medication. Finally got diagnosed with ADHD. I did that privately. I started taking the medication in September last year, and it has been the unlock to my life. My feelings, my thoughts, everything else, all in control. Proper slow brain, not slow like slow, but instead of being 1,000 miles an hour, I'm sort of like 10, maybe 20 miles an hour, so I can manage with everything. This guy needs to get diagnosed and get his medication. He's diagnosed. But anyway, that's why I try to help him out. But yeah, so since being in the VC, I use all my military training now in a positive way. Getting people through it. I'm also a level 5 PT. So seeing Donna in the video just now, she was like, I can't do it. I just can't do it. It's impossible. I'm never going to be able to do it. We started walking on the beach, on the flat, on the sand, go for a mile walk, have a coffee, 2 mile walk before you do it, on the sand. Then I started to introduce the coastal walks, a bit more hilly, different weather, different terrain. And I just kept on building and building and building, like a PT would. She didn't realise what I was doing, to be fair. And then we got better and better things. We did little hills, started to move up to more elevation. Purcell Hills here, about 540 metres above sea level. Then we did a few more other mountains, like Pennyfan, some others, and then finally got up to Snowdon, and it was hard. I came off Snowdon and I had cramp in my legs. I was tired, and I'm a fit boy, so it was really good to see those people push themselves, because they did it. They're the ones that did it. I just kind of like led the way, if you like, and give them the encouragement that they needed. And I'm really grateful that the VC was there for me, hence why I've now gone, let's raise some money for the VC. Let's give something back, because they helped me get through it. So I know it's a bit of a long story, but it's been 5 years in the making, so here we are.
I just want to ask you a couple of questions, because Jerry's put in the comments here PTSD, comorbidities and substance abuse, which I'm going to touch on that myself, because I went down the wrong path. But I've got a couple of questions, Gareth, before I do that, and then we'll get Reg on.
Course, yeah.
Where did you serve, and what was your role?
So I did 22 years in Royal Signals, mostly mainstream Royal Signals. We moved around as individuals. Spent many times in many units and stuff. But I really enjoyed it. The training, coaching, what I enjoyed. Give those young people a chance to move forward with their lives and get their independence.
Yeah, so you did a couple of tours of Afghanistan, did you? What was the most challenging moment you experienced?
The most challenging moment? Nothing to do with that. It was realising that I had a mental health problem and not getting help. I didn't do that. Yeah, because I knew I had a problem. I needed help. I asked for it, and I asked for it, and it just didn't happen. And that's what caused me to do what I did. It did consume me, and again, I'm grateful for it because I'm here.
So can you explain what a typical day like during your deployment was out in Afghanistan? Like your typical daily routine?
Yeah, I could. So I'll give you a good one. So the last month, I had to move to Kaya Airport, so up in Kabul, and it was only 6 Brits on camp, and this is a great one. This is a good one. So all I had to do was maintain a communication link, right? So all the flight manifests would come in. So there's like a flight sergeant who knew what was coming in, who was leaving, all that sort of stuff, country in and out, everything in and out. All I had to do is provide that link. So once that link was up and running, I give him a key. He could walk down the runway. He'd let himself into the ISO container, download all the data. He knew what was coming in and out. And he'd call me or text me if there was a problem, like the power had gone out, and I just go and turn the power back on and reset everything. I had to maintain like the secrecy of it. I had to do like security checks and stuff like that. But basically, my normal day was wake up when I woke up, maybe 8, 9, 10 o'clock, go down to the cabin. On the way down, get a bacon roll, hot chocolate bacon roll. Go into the cabin, make sure the communication link's still working. Probably call home for a little bit, and then go to lunch, and then sort of hang around for a bit, maybe a bit of sunbathing. This is the last month I was there, by the way, just because I was obviously a bit stressed in my head. And then play football in the afternoon, 3 till 5, and then go to evening meal, and then probably just go to the bar, and that would be it, and just repeat for the whole month, which was a great way to finish the tour, really.
Brilliant stuff.
Detox.
Anything else you'd like to add before I do my little spiel?
Yeah, so the only thing I'd like to add, if any veterans or serving personnel are actually suffering in any way, shape, or form, speak out. Honestly, speak up. Go and find someone that you can trust. Go and find someone like the VC or someone like a friend, someone really close to you, someone that you trust, and just explain to them how you feel. You are not alone. I felt like I was the only one feeling the way I did, and that's what really hurts, because then you really do believe that's you and you're the problem, but it isn't. There's so many of us. Like when I went into that VC, and like 20, 30 people said, I was in your shoes when I was 40 years old. I did exactly the same. I did this, I did that. You think to yourself, hang on a second, there's something going wrong here. There's obviously a theme, right? And then you don't feel alone. And then that kind of pulls you away from isolation. And then you can just go from there. So I think that's what I did. So yeah, just reach out if you can.
Good stuff. Good stuff, guys. So the VC Gallery, if you're from the Pembrokeshire area, veterans and community, please get in touch with them. You can reach out to us, get involved with us with this show. If you need any help, we've got links that we can pass you on to. I just want to touch on the PTSD has so many comorbidity, substance abuse. So I was addicted to cocaine for 13 years. I'm still recovering. I'm doing really well. It's the best I've ever been. So it was just, I had drug-induced psychosis. I left the military. I left my brothers and sisters, my brotherhood, and I went down the wrong path. So
self-medication.
Self-medicating. Gareth believes I've got massive ADHD. I'm 100 miles per hour. So he's just been diagnosed with it. September last year. So I'm in the process of doing it. But I'm just saying, even if you've got drug and alcohol issues, guys, or gambling problems or anything like that, get in touch. We can link you into so many different directions. But yeah, I had a lot of spiritual trauma with drug-induced psychosis. Things were becoming real that wasn't real, and stuff like that. It was just absolutely crazy. But I'm coming out of that now, and I've come a long way. Gareth's helped me massively. The VC Gallery's helped me massively. So we don't judge. Get in touch and just we link you in the right direction.
Just to add to that, I know you probably won't let me say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I drugs test him. Okay, the minute he takes drugs, I know. Okay, he's been clean for a long time. He's got a bad reputation because obviously when you're addicted to drugs, you do stupid things. He is clean. I am testing him randomly. I'll go away for a couple of days, come back, he's getting tested. Simple as that. He passed one this morning. So he is clean, guys. He is. I know he's had a rough few things.
What my point is if you come forward and you need help to coming off these drugs, there is help out there, and we can link you in them directions. We don't judge. We won't, or alcohol, or gambling, or PTSD, or CPTSD, and so forth, so on. So I'm going to get Reg on in a second. Just bear with me a second. I've got something I want to put up. So this is your Veterans HM Forces Veterans card for the United Kingdom. This is absolutely free. Go online, type in HM Armed Forces Veterans card, and go on there. They're absolutely free. Also, we offer a membership card, as you can see there, for £10 membership pack. That helps us keep the running costs of the show and so forth. We are going to speak a little bit more about PTSD Camp Bath. Let me just get this picture off. PTSD Camp Pembrokeshire. PTSD Camp Pembrokeshire with Gareth. Gareth setting up. We're going to speak a bit more. That's going to be free for veterans in the community. That's a work in process. So, Reg, welcome to the Late Night Veteran Show. It's your first time on the show, and I'm sure we're going to see you many more times. I'm going to let you take over, and you have your say. Go for it.
Thank you so much for talking about PTSD. You know, I have PTSD myself. There was, as I was, my last posting in the Canadian military was in Wainwright. I was in range control. And there were times when the Americans were there and the British forces were there. Some people died in the training area, and I had to deal with the communications of providing it, sort of linking the base to the training unit. And it's just what was happening in there. And then added on top of that was going over to Iran in 1988. It seriously affected me. So when I left the military, I was very angry. And what happened is that it took many years for me to get to where I am now. But I wanted to quickly talk about Iran. You know, so when we left for Iran, it was 1988. It was just after the eight-year war ended between Iraq and Iran. The Americans came in with their Galaxy transport aircraft. They landed in Calgary. They picked us up. They sent us over to Trenton. And then they took us from Trenton over to a U.S. Air Force base in Turkey. From there, and if you go to my website of ramacleod-argue.com, that it actually talks, it has a link on that base website in the history, and you'll notice that it talks about 1988. There was 500 of us peacekeepers that were, once we got to the base there, then we were transported from there to either Iran or Iraq via a Canadian Herc. So, you know, so we spent about 2 days in Turkey, but then when I landed in Iran, as we're going from the airstrip to the back to Iran, the headquarters, the detachment headquarters, they had a roadside sign. It had the Ayatollah, and the Ayatollah was wearing military attire. The rifle had a backpack. Underneath it said in English, "War is glorious." So right off the bat, that was my welcome to Iran, you know. And then from there, as we're driving down, we're seeing the black shawls hanging over the windows and the door frames, which signified that the family members have been lost to that family that lived in the house. And also the massive, it looked like garbage heaps were in front of the houses. You could see the effects of war. And it really, I guess it really got to me. But when we got back to Iran, one of the people there were telling me that when they got there, they were cleaning the shower room, and they had to clean blood off the walls. Now, they got there prior to us. And I'm going to tell you how important that is later on when we talk about it, because the Iranian government hid information for decades about a massacre. So once we got back to Iran, there was an Iranian brigade, infantry brigade, that wanted to overrun us just to the north of us, and they wanted to continue the war. So, you know, I'm 21 years old, and I'm thinking to myself, going, this isn't possible. And just seeing everything, I felt like I was in a movie. I didn't feel like I was in reality, and it just really affected me. And also, when I was able to break away from the Revolutionary Guard, I was able to talk to some of the children one time, and just look in their eyes, and you see that they're suffering. And what the Iranians would do is they would take, the Iraqis were better equipped military-wise than the Iranians. The Iranians had to buy their stuff off the black market, whereas Iraq were supplied by the Soviet Union. So the Iranians would send wave after wave of children at the Iraqi position with rifles, bayonets, or, you know, at these tanks and guns. And as soon as the Iraqis started running low on ammunition, then the Iranians moved in. And so he just showed you the sacrifice. And to this day, I still remember that. And then I was later on during my radio's time, I was talking to someone who was from Iran, and they were telling me that all of the mental institutions were emptied, and the Iranians threw all the patients at the Iraqi position. So you just think to yourself, this is like a movie, but it's real. And so when we got finally, what happened was after a week. Excuse me for a second. I take a quick drink.
No problem.
Well,
Cheers, buddy.
after a week, yeah, after a week, we found out that the infantry brigade north of us wasn't going to overrun us. Thank God. So then we finally did the road move from back to around to Desfoot. And I was told prior to entering into Iran, the theater of war in Iran, a high-ranking officer gave us a debriefing in Calgary, and he said that he talked about the Shiites and the Sunnis, and what the Shiites are in control in Iran, and the Sunnis are, which is the minority in Iraq, were in control. So what the Iranian government tried to do is they tried to overthrow the Iraqi government by dropping leaflets in areas where the Shiites were predominantly population. Well, Saddam Hussein wasn't going to take that. He turned around and attacked. But the high-ranking officer also said that we're considered infidels. Don't do anything because they won't think twice of killing you. So some of us seem to, us Canadians, we're not. Sometimes when someone says something to us, we just think in our mind, we're going, challenge accepted. So as we're going
you've
to
got ADHD by the chance, because that's what I do. Someone
Yeah.
says don't push the button, I'm like, push. What happens? Sorry, just had to put that in there.
Yeah.
That's
But
absolutely right.
as we're doing the road trip from back to around to Desfoot, we stopped at this road stop, and I walk out. I got my ghetto blaster. I'm playing "Good Morning Vietnam" soundtrack. Now, I wasn't sure if it was "Fortunate Son" or "Have You Ever Seen the Rain," but it was blasting.
Yeah.
And one person said they feel like they're back in Vietnam. Another person said, "Yeah, I hear the Hueys coming over the mountaintop." And I said, "Well, I hear the M60s opening up." Well, I got told by my sergeant I wasn't allowed to play that whenever we stopped after that. But I just wanted to go challenge accepted, and at the same time, I guess it was the young. I felt like I had a point to prove sort of thing. So I was young and I was sort of rebellious, you could say.
Macho male.
And, yeah. And so
How old were you again, sorry? At that time? 20, was it? 21?
21.
Yeah, of course,
So,
yeah.
and so what happened was I didn't play anymore. We didn't do that ever again. So when we got to Desfoot, it was an old U.S. Air Force base. There was an Olympic-sized pool there. There were 4 people to a room for us. The officers only had two people to a room, and the commander had 1 person to a room. But we actually, for when we weren't on duty, then we were able to go to officers' mess to the breakfast and supper. And there, at supper time, we're able to watch the news, and the news was so. I felt like it was indoctrinating people, because it showed, even though it was in Farsi, it still showed the picture of everyone running to the trench and everyone playing this music and everything. So that right there, it's like, wow. But we also experienced the food, the Iranian food, and they drink a lot of tea. And even when we were able to go one time with the United Nations observation officers, they were doing this tour. So I went from Desfoot. I spent a couple weeks there. Then I went over to 5 kilometers from the Iraqi-Iranian border, a small town. And so when I got there, I write the whole entire thing is written in this book, like the short story for what went on in Iran and everything. I'm just giving highlights right now. So I was able to go to the Iraqi-Iranian border, so I felt like I'm in Iraq. I'm in Iran. No, I'm in Iraq. I'm in Iran. It's like you.
ADHD again.
Yeah.
No actual physical line, but you're jumping from one line to the next, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, get it.
And so also during that time, that tour, we were able to go to a gun position, We talked to elders at this village. We had tea with them. And then when we went to this other village, the females were wearing those burqas.
Yeah.
Those burqas, they trigger me because whenever I see them, it brings my mind back to Iran.
Of course.
And I can imagine what it does to the veterans like yourself that went to Afghanistan. It just pulls your mind back to that day sort of thing. And so people have to understand the burqas are not religious, they're cultural. The hijab, I did see the women wearing the hijab in Iran. It was in Tehran, the main capital sort of thing. And the funny thing about Tehran is whenever they took their cars out during the war, at nighttime, if their horn didn't work, they weren't taking their car. Their lights don't work, everything else, they'll still take the car out. So it just shows you the kind of how they're trying to keep themselves safe. You feel like in Iran, you also felt like some of the drivers were Indianapolis 500. The way they drive, they'd pass on the right shoulder, the left shoulder. Vehicles come that direction, they didn't care. They just going right, to pass you. But yeah, it was a really interesting experience. When we got to the 5 kilometers, we got to that one place that was 5 kilometers from the border. There's also all the different colors of uniforms they're wearing, and some of them were pink, and then basic camo over top of it. So in the book here, I'm making fun of what they're wearing, but I'm also making fun of the McLeod Lewis clan kilt that I wear, the bright colors, and you could see it from the moon. And one person said to me one time, they said, "Oh yeah, we actually gave your family that kilt because we wanted to see you in the battlefield. We wanted to know where you were in the battlefield." And McLeod Lewis were not. We kind of charged forward. And some people say it's Donald Trump colors. It's not. Donald Trump's mother is McLeod Lewis, was McLeod Lewis. And my late mother was McLeod Lewis too. So my mother was born in Canada. Her father was born in Canada, and my late great-grandfather was born in Stornoway, Isle of Lewis. I have Campbell blood in me too from my late great-grandfather. His wife was Campbell. So, but yeah, and then with Iran, as we're leaving, we ended up in Tehran, and we were able to stay in the Hilton Hotel. So the only time I said, yeah, I've actually stayed in the Hilton Hotel one time in my life, and that was in the capital of Tehran. And so when we got, I had to buy a present for my sister who's getting married in September. So I went and bought a Persian rug. And so when I bought it, I sort of paid for it in American dollars. And I didn't have the Iranian dollars, but he gave me the change in Iranian dollars. But it was a really interesting time. The Soviet Union came there. They picked us up in Tehran and they brought us back to Montreal, but they also stopped in Moscow. Now, there was 55 of us on that aircraft landing in Moscow. We're walking down the airport, olive green uniforms, blue berets, green jungle boots. Everyone's heading towards the duty-free stop. And, oh, wow, I'm just getting dry here. So a lot of people went and bought alcohol and everything. I bought the T-shirt that said CCCP on it, sort of thing. And then when we got back on the aircraft, now here's one thing that Canadians sometimes we don't really pay attention to the rules sometimes. So when you get on it and you get off an aircraft that you're going to go back on, it's a good idea to leave controversial items like, I don't know, knives on the aircraft. When we're getting back on the aircraft, we walked through metal detectors and they found out of those 55 people, there must have been 110 knives that they found. But they handed them all back to us. But as I was saying in the book, I was saying, yeah, if that was done nowadays, we'd all be, against the wall and sent off to some gulag somewhere, and it would be an international incident. But there, it was sort of laughed off.
Yeah.
So, but when we landed in Montreal, they had vehicles that were waiting for us, so we didn't have to go through customs. So a lot of people, they had so much alcohol in their luggage, it was unreal, that they would have been big time in customs. So, but it was, to me, that it was an interesting experience, because after I came back from Iran, the drinking got out of control. I caught doing 151 kilometers an hour in a 90 kilometer hour zone. If they would have caught me in the Alberta side, I was doing over 200 kilometers an hour in the 1988 Ford Ranger. I was drinking, trying to kill the pain.
Yeah, of course.
And
self-medicating, right?
Yeah, big time.
Alcohol is a drug at the end of the day, and yeah, self-medicating.
Yeah. Well, I've been sober since the end of December 2001.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah, it is still a struggle for me, in the way that the PTSD is. I have problems sleeping. Sometimes when people call me, I don't really remember. I don't recognize the voice, or I don't recognize the name, sort of thing. So my mind, I have problems with that.
Is that because you're so tired, because you're not sleeping because of the PTSD?
Yeah, I only sleep a couple hours a night, and even with my medical cannabis, it might work. It works a little bit, but then my body adjusts to it.
Of course, you get used to it. Again, it is a drug, so you have the tolerance for it, and then you need more of it. Then you go down more. You go faster. What did you say? I think you said like 180 kilometers an hour, and then all of a sudden it's 200. Because again, it's the adrenaline rush, the drug that you're getting yourself when you're at that speed. You get a rush, right? And then next time you're at that speed, you go, well, I've done this before, let's do more. And you just, like you said about the cannabis, right? You get more, and you get more, and you get more, and then it kind of spirals out of control, doesn't it?
Well, I think they've medically allowed it over here now.
Yeah,
medical cannabis. How do you find that helps you for our viewers that are watching?
I find it calms me down. It doesn't knock me out, because I'll take so much that would knock out an elephant, sort of thing, I feel like. But it takes a couple hours for it to kick in.
Yeah.
But when I'm calmed down, then I start writing. So, like I said, prior to coming on, I've written hundreds of poems. I've done over 400 interviews with different people. You want to talk about a subject, just name it. I probably did an interview with someone.
So I just jump in there quickly. So what I've just realized is you were struggling. You kind of went down that little route a bit there. The medicine, the cannabis, the medicine that you're getting, is giving you the chance to calm yourself down, right? To calm your mind down, to calm that PTSD. And now you're writing things down. You're getting it out there. You're expressing what's inside you in your head onto paper.
Yeah.
You're getting rid of that stress, getting rid of that. Not getting rid of it, but you're processing it, right?
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like, that's what I've been doing with the CBT, the advanced CBT and all that sort of stuff, and the medication I'm taking. It's giving me that chance to calm down, right? The ADHD that I was talking about, the PTSD. The medication's actually making me slow down. My brain is slowing down, so I'm able to keep up with myself.
You was 1,000 miles per hour.
You are 1,000 miles an hour. I was 1,000 miles an hour. I'd like, where's my keys? Where's my phone? I'd go and do something, and I'd be too fast for myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hang on a second, like you did the other day, right? We got up Snowdon. He packed a bag. He packed his day sack like you would in the military. Right? He packed everything in there, first aid kit, waterproof, swab kit, everything. Everything's packed. Where's your bag down? Only 10 miles away. So we go to get his bag. Where's the keys to get in the house? The other way, 10 miles. ADHD, absolute chaos. I lost my shit with you. I did. Because I'm medicated, right? And it pisses me off. And in the end, he just borrowed my trousers, borrowed my shoes, without his bag. So sorry to jump on there, but it's that 1,000 mile an hour thing. It's about calming yourself down, right?
Yeah.
If you're able to calm yourself down, you're then able to process. Your outlet obviously is writing or interviews. Mine's more like getting out in the mountains, going outside. So yeah, it's really good. So how do you manage now then? Like if we fast forward a little bit to now, how do you manage?
Well, I also have to deal with about 20 to 25 different health conditions, and one of them. Let's see, the knees, the hips, the pelvic area, dissolving bones in lower back, compressed vertebrae throughout the back, bone growth on both nerve cords on either side of my neck, osteoarthritis here and here, osteoarthritis there, bayonet to the knuckle right there. When I was in the military, we were doing drill, eyes front sort of thing, going like this, and then eyes front, drop the arm. I swear the guy had his rifle a little bit over. And even though the bayonet was dull, still my hand dropped right into it, right to the bone, And so I have to deal with all that stuff. So I walk with a cane. I weigh over 320 pounds. And like I said to my wife, I said, I'm very outspoken. So my thoughts are, if someone wants to come and try to basically confront me in any way, I'm too old to run. I'm too fat to run. I'm just going to stand in one spot. And I have a cane that weighs about 3 to 4 times the weight of a normal cane because of my size. So it's been an interesting time. I don't drive anymore. I stopped driving in the end of November. What happened is as I was driving one day, all of a sudden I felt this thing come on, and then I passed out for a fraction of a second, 3 different times.
Yeah.
And I decided to sell my car because I almost smashed into some cars. And I feel that the safety of the public is more important than my right to drive. Right.
So I totally agree. I'm now a driving instructor, right? And in the UK, they will not. It's not an age thing. It's not. They're like, well, is the person like 70, 80? I'm not saying they're that old, but are they safe to be on the road? Are the reaction times good enough to react to a situation like a child jumping in front of them? There's no law to stop that. There's no law. It's down to the family to turn around and go, you're too old, you're not reacting. Take the license off them or take the car off them. But you've done that yourself.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you. We're coming up to about 10 minutes left on the show.
Okay.
We make it about an hour, but we definitely have you on again.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get Gareth to ask you a few questions before you you've got a poem that you've written before we read that out at the end.
Sure.
Thank you.
So what made you join the military in the first place?
Oh, I was in a small town, fishing, mining town, logging town. So I had a choice of actually staying in a place where the mosquitoes and the horseflies had their own private landing strip to take off from. They feasted on us like a human smorgasbord. There were so many of them, is unreal. So either stay in that thing, even though there's breathtaking scenery, the killer whales and everything, bald eagles coming down for the food. I could have stayed there or gone off and joined the Canadian military and seen the world. And I chose to join the Canadian military.
Oh, cool.
And,
What advice would you give? So good advice, bad, I'll rephrase the question. What advice would you give someone now that's maybe 16 years old thinking about joining the Canadian military?
The advice I would give is, if you're going to do that, choose a trade that can be transferred, the skills can be transferred over to civilian after you're done. And at the same time, when you're in there, I know that the military would pay for a percentage of it. If you want to take a course, they pay for a percentage of it after you're finished it. So take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Take advantage when you get to go, when you're posted somewhere, go out and enjoy everything. Live as much life as you can. And especially when you're over on some mission somewhere, talk to the locals.
Yeah.
Enjoy the culture and everything, because that way you're able to bring back later on in your life, and you're able to look back at it going, that helped you. Because if you're having any difficulties, then you're thinking, well, I remember that people over there were suffering this way, and that's very important.
Yeah, I think I like what you just said there. So be in the moment, really, because if you're thinking too fast or too far ahead, you're unable to process what's going on right now. That's how I manage my mental health now. I'm like, hang on a second, 1,000 miles an hour, slow myself down, go to the beach, go and have a walk, go and do this. Calms you down, process your thoughts, process your feelings. I'm happy again. I can breathe. So it's kind of like that, yeah. 2 more questions then, if you've got time. Your transition away from the military. how did you find it? Was it difficult? Was it easy?
I have a very hard time finding to keeping a job. I found that I felt like people thought I was speaking Greek, because when I started talking about military stuff, someone who's never been in the military, they don't really understand it.
Yeah, fair, yeah.
And their thoughts are, suck it up, just go on, forget about it, just go live life. Well, how are you supposed to forget about something?
Okay.
2023, I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah.
How are you supposed to forget about all that stuff?
You shouldn't forget about it, because your scars. That's who you are. You are the man you are because of the scars you have and the things that you've seen and done. And the training, the good stuff, the bad stuff, the ugly stuff, the blood, sweat, tears, right? The blood. So, yeah, it's really hard. I found it really hard. That's why I asked that question, to be honest. Because, yeah, people say, oh, forget about it. Forget about it? How? It's who I am. It's the last 20-odd years of my life. I can't just forget about 2 decades, right? It's impossible. One more question. What advice would you give someone if they're serving or just about to finish and their mental health isn't the best it could be? They're not like massively suffering, like they're just starting to go down that road where things are starting to turn a bit down negative. They're seeing the world a little bit doom and gloom. They're anxious. They're starting to get a little bit depressed. What advice would you give them?
Here in Canada, we have a lot of nonprofit organizations and different initiatives started by different veterans. Reach out, talk to some of these veteran groups here. I know there's the Dan Slack's one for give me one.
It's all good, man. Take your time.
Yeah, runs one. Just talk to other veterans that have been out of the military. Ask them to help you with your transition. The most important thing is always remember that your life does matter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
you got family and friends, right? I didn't think about my family and friends at that time. The demons took over, and that was it. So absolutely, thank you for answering those questions, because it's the raw truth from yourself. I'd just like to add there as well. A lot of us say reach out. Okay, a lot of us say reach out. When you're in that place and you're really dark, you don't reach out. So my challenge now to any veteran out there who's watching, who's going to watch it later on, reach in. Look at him. I'm looking after him right now. He didn't reach to me. I reached to him. When you're trying to get over that wall, that 6-foot wall, that 10-foot wall, and you're on your own, it's hard. If there's a veteran at top and he turns around and puts his arm down, it becomes easy. That's reaching in. Reach in, reach forward. If you've got the capacity to help somebody, please do it. Give them that call. Call them again. Ask them 3 or 4 times. Go around making that cup of tea. That's where the magic really happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely reach in, reach out. But I think reaching in is probably, because you're in that space, you can do it. So thank you very much for your answers there, buddy.
Yeah, great answers there and some great questions, Gareth. Well done. So now we're going to come on to Reg's poem that we've all been waiting for. So if you could fire away with that, and then we'll end the show. I'll have a spiel before the end, and if anybody has any last words, we'll go from there. Good, fire away.
Yeah, this poem right here. My ancestors come from England, Scotland, Ireland, Norway, possibly Normandy. So this is I'm hearing the cries of my ancestors when I wrote this poem. I've written probably written about 400 or 500 poems, something like that. So a lot of my poems are talking about good battling evil sort of thing. And this one right here is called They Have Awoken. I hear the cries and the heartbeat of battle coming from across the pond, from people whom the soil they walk upon belongs. Their ancestors representing the heartbeat of their kingdom, symbolized by the lion, dragon, unicorn, and red hand. A place where God's grace has cast a brilliant light upon the people of 4 nations under one flag. A light that has carried the message of freedom, liberty, justice, and truth to other parts of the world, both near and far. This dedication and oath are ingrained into the very DNA of many people from this kingdom throughout history, as proven by the patriots of this region who sacrificed their lives to ensure the light would continue to shine. It is a memory of the heroes who came before them that inspires the modern patriots of this land to keep that beacon from ever being extinguished or dimmed by the darkness created by a few. The voices of those who came before also serve as a warning to anyone who wishes to seek harm their people or those they consider allied, friends, and family. Even in the darkest of night, the demons acknowledge the power that lives within these people, a force that has grown into a hurricane of change and freedom for all. When the people of this land awaken to the warrior flowing through their blood, even the devil will flee in terror. For the greatness of their ancestors resides within them and can never be taken away, neither today, nor tomorrow, nor for as long as they and the generations that follow endure. They will stand like granite statues, protecting and defending their people, their flag, their kingdom, with every last breath they have left within them.
Nice, mate. Nice.
Well done. That's an absolutely fantastic poem. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on the show. If you would like to accept our invite, if you could come on once every 2 months or something. I'm sure you've got a lot to say and a lot more poems to share and stories to share. An hour's never enough, but due to the Armed Forces Covenant, we do only just get over an hour, and we've got to follow by their rules. So I just want to a couple of announcements I've got to make. So there was a missing veteran. His name is Russell Hunt. He was missing from the Grove Road Gosport area with serious concerns for his welfare. Hang on 1 second. Let me pull this off. Well spotted, Gar. Where are we? Comments. Ooh, sorry about that. Oh, it's
just trying to clear the screen so you can see the whole thing. You've confused me now. Get rid of the website. Yeah, there. And now comments. Donna says hi. Let me get rid of that. I can't do it. Okay. Anyway, it don't matter. Yeah, Donna, we're all good. Thank you. So anyway, the missing veteran there in the background, Russell Hunt, he was missing. Oh, my phone's just locked. Typical. Russell Hunt is missing from the Grove Road Gosport area with serious concerns for his welfare. If anyone has seen or heard from him in the last few hours, please let Hampshire Police know as soon as possible. Just to let you know, an update on that missing veteran. The veteran was found safe. Russell from Gosport, who we recently launched, an alert yesterday, has been found safe. Thank you very much. So what have you done there? Let me go back off that. Media assets, go back off that. And then we've got one more. I want to put this guy up. So this guy is a patient who took down a terrorist from bombing St. James's Hospital in Leeds, has been awarded the George Cross for the bravery of the King. Nathan Newbury talked to Mohammed Farooq until the police arrived. Can I just add something there?
Go on.
He leaned in. He saw someone having a bad day. He saw the individual. He was distressed. He had a bomb in his bag. He did not know this. He was on a break. He went for a vape. He then saw this individual. He saw that this individual was suffering. There was clearly something going on. He leaned in. He stopped that terrorist attack from happening because he spoke to the individual. He got the individual to talk, just obviously talk about what was happening, what was going through his head, and he stopped that individual by leaning in. So actually, help a veteran by leaning in, but actually that's another leaning thing, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So well done, that man. I take my hat off to him. And then this is an appeal to a veteran that's been a serving soldier, in fact, 1 month on renewed appeal to locate missing soldier Ryan Rudd. So this weekend remarks 1 month since Ryan Rudd, 28, did not return to his barracks after a night out in Selby. Ryan was out with his friends in town centre before he went missing in the early hours of the following morning, Sunday, 15th of February, 2026. He was reported missing to North Yorkshire Police on Sunday, the 1st of March, 2026. The last confirmed sighting of Ryan was at 02:54 on Sunday, the 15th of February, 2026. Walking past the old flour factory towards the new Millgate. Ryan is described as white, around 5'8" tall, of slim build with dark brown hair. When he was last seen, he was wearing a black t-shirt, blue hooded top and black trousers. Since the original report, officers have carried out detailed inquiry, including CCTV trawls from cross areas as well as door-to-door inquiries. Specialist teams have searched the key locations on both land and water using equipment such as police drones to scour hard to reach areas. Do you want to read that bit, Gareth?
Yeah, Ryan's mum, Kirsten, and Dan have today released a new image of Ryan along with his statement. As a family, we are devastated and struggling to put into words how we feel. We would ask anyone who has even the smallest piece of information that can help bring Ryan home. Please contact the police. We are desperate to have him back, as you can imagine. Inspector Kieran Conlon from North Yorkshire Police said this is an extremely difficult time for Ryan's family, and they are currently receiving support from special officers. As with any investigation, they remain open-minded and will continue to explore all lines of inquiries, but we must accept the possibility that Ryan has entered the River Ouse. If you have any information which can help with the search, then please call 101, and if any immediate sightings should be reported to 999.
Thank you very much. So, any last words from you, Gareth?
Again, thank you, buddy, for seeing you from over the pond. Hopefully come over there at some point to visit Canada again. And again, thank you for all your answers and your input. And it's just again, like I like to say, reach out, reach in. Let's help each other. We're veterans, right? Let's get that brotherhood. Let's keep that brotherhood.
Yeah, all across the world. Across the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our website's there, www.thelate-veterans-show.org. Take a look at it. We're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all the main platforms. We go live on 8 platforms right now as we talk.
I wonder if I could quickly just add something there, Darren.
Yeah,
I'm also the poet laureate for the Veterans World Magazine.
Wow.
1.1 million online subscribers so far, 32 nations. I would be talking, like I was saying prior to the interview, I talked to Bob. You know, we're going to try to see if we can get a section in there for Britain, for you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We really need that. I put poems in there. The one poem when they have a picture of the Trump, welcome them back, they put my poem, Breaking the Walls of Hate.
Wow, right? That's absolutely incredible. 1.2 million. Yeah, we'd be well interested and up for that. I think you could do the writing for that.
Oh, maybe. Maybe we could talk to someone in the VC gallery. They could write.
Red.
I walk. I don't write. I walk.
Yeah. Maybe we can get the VC gallery promoted as well.
Definitely use that. 100%.
So, guys, we do have join our membership for a suggested donation of £10 one-off payment. It goes to running cost of the show. Reg, any last words before we finish?
I am deeply honored that you guys reached out to me and allowed me to come on to this forum. And the only thing I'm going to say to people is the veterans never stop following your oath. You swore an oath to God, right? So you're protecting God, and the greatest honor that God ever gave us is to protect the people, the flags, the nations.
Protect each other, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
I'd just like to add on to the comments here. You've got Donna Rose Evans. That's the individual that I managed to get up Snowdon. She's actually put a comment on there. If you want to show it, you can show it. Right?
Gareth Bro from another.
I call her my sister from another mister. Right? A bit more polite, but yeah. Hi Donna. Yeah.
Hi Donna.
Looking forward to going up Ireland.
She said she couldn't make it, didn't she?
Yeah,
couldn't do this, and she was able to achieve it. Same as Penny Farm, she managed to do. So big shout out to Donna. She volunteers at the VC Gallery. She does absolutely an amazing job. So guys, that is the Late Night Veteran Show episode 72 with Reg and our co-host Gareth. We are going to end the show here, but Reg will be back on once every 2 months. He's got some incredible poems and some incredible stories. If you had one of his stories tonight, and we look forward to having him on the regular guest. I'll be dropping him a message after the show once me and Gareth have finished our chats in the background. So just bear with me while I play the tune for coming out. And good night. Good night, guys.
Cheers.
I pledged allegiance to the flag God stood beside me. I swore an oath to my countrymen and kin. Side by side we sang our anthem oh so proudly. And this is where a soldier's tale begins. We left for foreign shores in the name of comrades in arms for the liberty of man, shoulder to shoulder.
Did you want to say something?
No, yeah, thank you very much. Just it. Cheers.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Good evening. God bless you all.
Best of him.